Rachel is a professor of politics, and she is also the principal investigator of an ERC advanced project on digital campaigning and electoral democracy. And she has published a wide range of very impactful articles and books on these topics.
Basically, we found, as I said, that higher exposure to online political influences in the US 2020 campaign was not associated with higher support for populist candidates, or what we might argue is a kind of withdrawal or souring on the institutions of democracy. So they don't really appear to fit the profile of a democratically deconsolidated electorate. Those with higher exposure to online political influences are more interested in politics and more engaged. They do participate at a higher rate. But they're also clearly more likely to subscribe to extremist views and conspiracy beliefs. So whether or not OPs are fueling or simply reflecting this, we can't judge from these data, but it is a clear relationship. Interestingly, those that were exposed to candidates' online ads, as I said, were actually more likely to fit the profile of a democratically deconsolidated audience, in that they were supportive of populist candidates and were less trusting in the federal government and the mainstream media. Insofar as the Twitter data yields significant results that we can sort of lean into a little bit to sort of think, well, how far does this confirm, if you like, what we've found from the survey data? It does support this conspiracy argument that conspiracy thinking does seem to be more linked with people who are following OPs, but we do need more statistical power and more nuanced measures. And as I said, the next step that we've got is that basically we have some new data that we've now pulled out of our Twitter data for these survey respondents who agreed to share their Twitter feed. And what we've done is broaden the definition of kind of exposure. So we're not asking just do people like, follow, retweet, or mention one of these accounts, but what we've got is the timelines, the people who they were following, and so we know what they were exposed to or what they heard during the course of the campaign. And we can actually measure if they were more likely to see a retweet within their network. So what they were exposed to was a retweet, or if somebody liked or mentioned one of these accounts. So they themselves did not have to do that, but they were exposed to that. We're able to see a frequency of that over the course of the campaign. So this will kind of basically allow us to increase the counts of the actual experience of being exposed to one of these accounts, because it's not people's own actions, but it's what they were exposed to in terms of what their networks were doing.
Thank you again, Professor Gibson. My question is, your article mentions that there is no commonly accepted definition of an online political influencer, which raises the question of what is truly new about this phenomenon.
So on Omri's question, I mean, this is a really key, I think, for the whole online political influencer debate, which is really what is new. And I do think there is a kind of argument that it's a bit plus à changer, in the sense that I mentioned Lazarsfeld's arguments, and a number of studies have gone back and explicitly cite his two-step flow effect, and sort of argue that he was amongst the first to talk about these kind of influencers or these opinion formers. So I do think that there is very much a kind of legacy, and we shouldn't just think, oh, these people have come along and there was nothing that existed before.